A man claiming to help some of Arizona's most vulnerable. Is he taking it too far? Those are the concerns brought to the ABC15 investigators.
He's a man who has acknowledged to us that he is providing medical services to those experiencing homelessness.
But as ABC15 investigator Nicole Grigg found out, state health officials are now investigating those so-called services he's giving.
Medical! Anybody need medical?
This man claims he's doing good for Arizona's most vulnerable and Phoenix's largest homeless encampment, known as the Zone.
So my TikTok followers, they donated this cart. This cart goes everywhere with me. So I can do everything from, just a regular wound check out here to a full cardiac. I've got a defibrillator.
That's what he told us when we met him in the Zone in July. Back then, he introduced himself as Shane Benson and called himself a medic.
I do everything from blood pressures to major wound care to cardiac arrest here.
Beyond saying he's a medic, Benson wears a shirt that says EMS, wears a stethoscope, and carries around supplies.
This here is my drug box. So I've got some IV supplies, airways.
He told us he was trained in New York, now treating those who are unsheltered to help.
They need the medical services. We need to take care of them. It takes a lot of pressure off Phoenix Fire Department.
But not long after that story aired on ABC15, several people reached out to us saying Shane isn't who he claims to be. In fact, his last name isn't even Benson.
This man has to be stopped.
Which took us down the road of who he really is, Shane Burdick.
He's going to hurt somebody badly.
Jill Dillon was one of his TikTok followers who was so inspired by the help she thought he was doing, she went out with him to the Zone. But as someone who once worked in medical offices, she got concerned when she saw him doing wound care and giving IVs.
I find Shane in somebody's makeshift tent, starting an IV. He is proceeding to stab this gentleman's hand. His wife is screaming. I'm just taken aback.
Jill claims Burdick was about to start a second IV, but this time she called 911.
You're crossing a line.
Jill showed us one of the videos from Burdick's public profile that she gave to state health investigators. It shows Burdick trying to help this man with what appears to be an infected finger. As he squeezes the man's finger, he cries out in pain. She also snapped this photo from his live stream. It shows Burdick allegedly giving an IV to someone inside a tent. She also sent this photo to investigators too, who are now looking into the claims.
I've reported him to everybody that will take a report from me.
Despite Burdick telling ABC15 and his hundreds of online followers that he's a former medic out of New York, the ABC15 investigators confirmed with New York health officials that he was never certified there or here in Arizona. Shane Burdick is no stranger to law enforcement, especially on the East Coast, where we obtained these mugshots out of Virginia. We found Burdick is considered a fugitive in Virginia with several active arrest warrants. He was supposed to be in court just weeks ago for an arraignment for failing to pay restitution. Last year, he was found guilty for grand larceny, and in Pennsylvania, state police there say he also has 2 active warrants in theft cases.
I'm doing ministry work, so I was called by Christ to come out to do medical services here in Phoenix, Arizona, so I packed up everything the week after the Super Bowl and moved out here, and I've been here ever since.
Burdick admitted to ABC15 that he was raising funds for a medical bike with over $8,000 already raised. The company telling us Burdick requested a fire rescue bike. However, they said since they couldn't confirm any affiliation, they set the terms that he must prepay, but they never heard from him again.
I did report him to the Attorney General. I have reported him to the state DHS.
Department of Health.
Correct. And I have heard from Department of Health.
As for Burdick, the ABC15 investigators followed him weeks ago as he live streamed on his TikTok to his followers, this time looking for a missing man.
I am out looking for a missing person. I figured if you're a manager, you're here all the time.
But that would be the last live stream he did, as hours later, moderators of his posted who they say he really is.
You're crossing the line when you're hurting a very vulnerable population.
It's unclear where Shane Burdick is now. We tried reaching out to him, but the number he gave us was disconnected. As for here, local investigators are tight-lipped about where their investigations stand. I'm investigator Nicole Grigg, ABC 15 Arizona.